Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to our YouTube channel. We're going to be all things college basketball for the rest of the year. This is our new campaign or new thing we're doing. We're going to try and bring our basketball knowledge to you, our viewers, and hopefully you enjoy it.
Yeah, we're huge basketball fans. Me and Will, we talk college basketball all the time. So we figured, why not make a YouTube video or a YouTube channel of it? So that's what we're gonna do.
Throughout the videos, you're going to see us have random guests. We're going to have people pop by, friends we have. We're going to try and cover as much college basketball as we can. And we're going to our hope is bringing you 2 videos a week, one on bracketology, one previewing the weekend, giving you some of our games to watch. But let's get her rolling. Let's start this off. We're gonna base this off of Joe Lenardi's bracketology found on ESPN. So we're gonna start. We'll pull up his bracket right here. We'll start with his on the bubble here. First name to me that jumps out right away, West Virginia. They showed up. They had a good game against Baylor on Monday. They're a team I think definitely could creep in here. What are your thoughts here, Zach?
Yeah, their game yesterday, they had a really good chance to beat Baylor on the road. They had, Flagler wasn't playing and LJ Cryer. So that's two of Baylor's top scorers, and they had a good chance. But being in the Big 12, West Virginia missed a chance yesterday. I think West Virginia, they have plenty of chances in February, and then in the Big 12 tournament I think West Virginia should be able to get into the tournament just with the amount of chances they're going to have down the stretch.
For sure. I think Kansas still has to go to Morgantown, I believe.
I think so. And that's always a tough game for Kansas.
That'll be a good game. It's going to be a battle there. Morgantown's a tough place to go play. So we'll see how that goes. Oregon's another name right there, automatically big name. Zach, I know you were high on Oregon at the start of the year.
Yeah, we both gave our Final Four predictions as the season began, like the first game. And I put Oregon in my Final Four. And then I was super nervous because they looked terrible early on. They got blown out to BYU. Man, they were losing to a lot of teams that were just okay teams. But now they've had a couple top 5 wins. I'm feeling better about them. I don't know about my Final Four pick right now, but I think as long as they can get in, Oregon's a team. You get Oregon in, they usually do damage in March. So I hope they get it. I've always been a fan of Oregon.
Keep building some momentum with that team.
They need to.
They're going to keep going. One name, again, jumps right out. A huge resume win for them, Florida State. They have that Duke win on their resume. So if you compare them to teams, I don't think any team wants to be competing with Florida State when you're comparing resumes. What are your thoughts on that, Zach?
That's true. Florida State they're so long and athletic. I think they don't have like a ton of it's tough. They're a long athletic team. They don't have a ton of guys that are going to hit like a bunch of shots, but I think Florida State, you're right. Their win against Duke is huge. That might really help. I think the committee is going to be like, okay, this is a big win. We're going to they might try to put them in. The ACC is kind of weak this year though. It's weaker than years past. So Florida State's a team I'm unsure of right now.
You bring that up, the ACC being weak, and right away you see in the last 4 byes North Carolina. It's another year, another time where one of the blue bloods is struggling. Last year we had Kentucky and Duke. Neither of them made the tournament. Right?
Yeah, neither of them did.
And now we got North Carolina fighting. They're one of the Joe Lenardi's last 4 byes. I think this really shows the parity in college basketball. They're spreading out the dominance, and now North Carolina's going to get back. The North Carolina fans, I think you're getting into the tournament. I think this is a one-off. You're going to be back, but it shows how college basketball is spreading.
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite parts of college basketball because you do the parity from top to bottom. Like we were talking about the other day, let's say like Auburn at 1, who's a fantastic team, but I still don't think they're much better than say, like I'm an Illinois fan. So at Illinois, like 18th in the most recent AP, I don't really think Auburn's that much better than Illinois. I think from like 1 through 20, I mean, like in college basketball right now, I don't think there's that much of a gap really. And that's my favorite part about it. because I think in college football, you see like it can get a little boring at times, seeing the same few teams like win and get in. And college basketball, especially this year, I mean, it's wide open, and that's why I'm so excited.
That's fair. Another name on that last four by San Francisco is that as you scroll through the bracket, it's 4 West Coast Conference teams.
That's four West Coast teams, which is I saw today looking at, and I think Joe says it up here. Yeah, he's talking about the ACC and Pac-12 combined have less than the Mountain West and West Coast, which I think like shows what you were talking about, how the amount of like parity in the league, how some mid-major leagues like the Mountain West and West Coast Conference, they're super good this year, a lot better than normal, and how the ACC and Pac-12 are kind of having down years, but it's kind of cool to see. Like San Francisco, they'll probably get in as like 11 or 12, and I think they might climb a little bit, but I think they're gonna be super tough for any 5-6 seed they have to face.
I mean, you know who loves to hear that is Gonzaga. They've been constantly, the knock on Gonzaga is their conference play, the fact that they don't have a strong conference. So for the West Coast Conference to get 4 teams in here would be huge, especially with the fact that BYU is preparing to leave to join the Big 12. It's time for the West Coast to start building, start to expand, and hopefully increase in skill and talent. You never know where they go from here.
That's a good point.
So we'll see how it goes. Then we'll go to the last 4 in, and we'll talk a little bit about, we got Florida, San Diego State, Creighton, Wyoming. What jumps out to you right away?
The team that I've been loving to watch this year has been Wyoming. I know one of the players on Wyoming's team. I went to school with him when I was younger, up until 9th grade, and he was a grade above me. And Drake Jeffries is his name. You guys might know him. He's a sniper. I think he shoots like 47% from 3. And he takes like 7 threes a game, 7 to 8 threes a game. So like Wyoming and Hunter Maldonado, Ike as well. Like they have guys. I think Wyoming is out of these last four in, I think Wyoming can really actually make a serious run in March. And I'm really excited about Wyoming. I think they're a really good team.
I think name right there. You'll meet Trey in one of our later videos. He's a big San Diego Aztecs fan. And he talks about how they're a dogfight. You never know what you're going to get out of the San Diego Aztecs, but they're going to give you defense. And I think that's what you're going to get. I don't think I'll tell you this, San Diego State getting a 16 seed, playing a 1 team, it depends on the team they get, but that defense, you never know what you're going to get out of them.
No, you don't. That's actually a good point, because they slow the pace down so much and their games are typically in the 60s. I think they could cause, if they can play the game to their pace, I think San Diego State, it can be tough for teams.
I'm not calling a 16-1 upset with that, but
well, they'd be like, are you talking? Oh, you're talking like the 12 get in as like the 12.
No, if they get in as a 16 against a 1 seed in that situation,
they don't for the mid majors. They'd go like 13. They'd have to get at least a 12.
Okay.
But no, I like what you're saying though. I like what you're saying. Get San Diego State in. They're a tough defensive team.
Yeah, they're gonna fight whoever they get through with. But all right, I'll ask you this. I said last thing with the last 4, but we're gonna jump to the next 4 out. And Zach, I want you to give me one team right there that jumps out to you that you want to go, that you think if someone's climbing in to the field from the next 4 out, who is it and why?
I think the team that nobody really has been talking about that much right now is probably UAB. UAB, they're in the Conference USA, so no one's really going to be talking about them too much. But they have Ole Miss's former coach, Andy Kennedy, there. And Andy Kennedy, he runs the type of defense that he runs, this like 3 defense system where he's constantly switching a 1-3-1, 2-3 and man. And he has guys now. He's got a bunch, like he's got some athletes there. I think UAB, besides Louisiana Tech, I don't think there's any other team that can even hang with UAB. So I think it's a small name. Like Notre Dame has they still have some opportunities.
Brand, right? You're going to be fighting against the brand in that situation.
That's actually a good point, because I think if you're looking at, if UAB doesn't get the conference, if they don't get the automatic qualifier, I like what you're saying. Notre Dame with their brand and their following will go a long way for them. So if there's similar resumes, the committee's definitely going to put Notre Dame in, because more people are going to want to watch.
You're going to see that you're going to see that money. And then another team on that next 4 out is VCU, right? VCU's got, they're not Notre Dame. They're not the brand that Notre Dame is, but VCU's got that established tradition of making the tournament.
That's true. People in Virginia love basketball. So I think that's also true.
So that's the bubble right there. But enough of that. We'll get over here and we'll start with our bracket. We've got it laid out here and we're going to go through and we're going to give you a rundown of what if it ended right now, what we think would happen. Now we are filming this on Tuesday night. Tonight is the Auburn and Alabama game. I'm high on Alabama. I think Alabama's beating Auburn tonight. I think.
Yeah, Bama's one of those teams that me and Will have been talking a lot about. Because they're so polarizing. Like they could easily make a Final Four run and they could easily lose in the first round. Like on Saturday, they play amazing against Baylor. And I think we both think they're going to beat Auburn tonight, but they're an interesting team.
It's going to be Bama's a team. We won't spoil anything, but Bama's a team to watch in our eyes. But we'll start here. We'll start with the number 1 overall seed, and that goes to the Auburn Tigers right now, according to Joe Lunardi. And again, this is Joe Lunardi's bracket here that he's made out for us, and we're gonna roll with that. And as I said, number 1 goes to Auburn, and they're gonna get the winner of Southern and New Orleans. Zach, what's here? And we'll start with, do you see that upset right away, or is it?
No, I don't think the 16-1, you never know, because the Virginia one happened not that long ago. I think Auburn it's too athletic. Jabari Smith, that dude's a freak. I think he's so athletic. I think you got Wendell Green. You have shooters. I think you have two. This would be occasionally you'll see a 16 maybe that you believe in. I don't think any of the 16s I would even think have a chance. But I got to have Auburn going on.
And I think if there's ever a year where you're talking where the number 1 overall seed isn't solidified, and it would be loose, it's this year. It's so fluid, that number 1 overall seed, that you never know. But we are going to go with Auburn advancing out of this one. I think we both agree fairly easily Auburn advances out of that. And that brings us to Miami and Oklahoma. Miami has their win over Duke this year. Oklahoma, they're playing in the Big 12. Tough to get a read on Oklahoma because they play in the Big 12 and because of who they have to play. But Zach, what are your early thoughts?
I think Oklahoma's they've been struggling a little bit lately because the Big 12 is the best conference in basketball this year. They have been struggling. I'm kind of leaning towards Miami in this game because Miami, the win against Duke was super impressive. Also, they are extremely experienced. Charlie Moore, their point guard, it's his 6th year now. Yeah. Played at Kansas for a year. He's really good. They're super experienced, and Oklahoma's been kind of faltering. So I think later in the season this could be different if Oklahoma starts to pick it up. But as of right now, I think Miami would get them in this one.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you think about that one?
I like Miami in this one. I also like Oklahoma. Oklahoma this weekend, what happened? They played Saturday against TCU. No, they didn't.
Or no, was that yesterday?
Might have been yesterday. They would have played SEC on Saturday.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they lost. They played Auburn. Auburn beat them by 18.
Auburn, that's right.
Yeah.
So you have that Auburn game, and there were moments in it where Oklahoma hung around. They battled. I think they looked all right. I've seen a couple. I'm a Kansas fan. Watch a lot of Big 12. There are moments where they look good, but you never know what you're going to get out of Oklahoma. And it is such a tough read to get off them because they play in the Big 12, because who they have to play. You get Kansas, Tech, Baylor, Iowa State. There's no easy game in the Big 12. But in the end, I would lean maybe a little bit to Oklahoma, but nothing solid. I think I'd agree. You think Miami, and I could definitely be swayed to go Miami. So we'll go with Miami in this one.
Yeah, this is a game that it's really 50-50 for me, especially because we haven't seen Oklahoma play an 8 seed type of team in a while because they've been playing. They played Auburn, then they played TCU yesterday, which is kind of an 8 seed game. But it's that's a tough game. That's a 50-50 game.
Yeah, we'll see how they respond to not a lesser challenge, but a different competition in the tournament.
Yeah.
But we'll go with Miami in this one. Now we have Illinois, Florida, and Wyoming. And Zach, I'll open the floor to you. Show off your Illini shirt. Zach's a ride or die Illinois fan. Give us your thoughts. The floor is yours.
So I actually hate seeing this 5-12 matchup because I think Wyoming would beat Florida. I haven't been impressed with Florida at all. They did beat Oklahoma State on Saturday, but I'm not impressed with Florida. So I think Wyoming beats Florida. And I really want to see Wyoming make a run. But I think Illinois is not a good matchup for Wyoming. I mean, that is a little bit of bias, but we have Kofi Coburn, we have Trent Frazier, I think Wyoming also has, Ike, who's an amazing big, but I think Illinois is a team really this year. We have major Final Four potential. I don't see the 5-12 game is always interesting. And I think this would actually be a really close game if it was Wyoming, Illinois. I think we'd win though. I think Kofi would be dominant. And then I think we have too much shooting, I think also. Even though Wyoming also shoots the ball well. So I think this is actually a very good 5-12 matchup. It's one that I'd be scared to see as an Illinois fan. But I think we'd win though.
I think the adage watching Illinois this year, they show up in the big games. They come and they don't get blown out easily. The Cincinnati game is a standout, but they beat the Michigan States. They beat the good teams, but it's those teams that when you take a step a little bit down, you start looking at it where they struggled. They struggled with Northwestern this last weekend.
Yeah,
it's going to depend on what Illinois you get here. Is Illinois going to play? And this is similar to the Alabama when we start talking about Alabama later. But what Illinois are you going to get? And that's ultimately going to be the question. I think at some point in the tournament, Illinois has the potential to make a run into the Final Four, but they're not going to show up for a game and they're going to get caught. But I think this game they get through. I think they win this game. So we're going to put Illinois through here. We'll move on. We'll go to Providence and Vermont. Zach, this is all you. Take it away.
Oh, Providence is they're a super tough team for me to like. I don't know. They're 18-2. I mean, and they're playing tonight at St. John's. I think that game is coming on in like 20 minutes, I believe, from now. So that they're at St. John's, but Providence has won so many close games this year. Like it's been incredible. Like they have been insanely good in close games. They played Vermont earlier in the year too, and they beat them by 10. But Vermont has been on like they've been handling business easily in the America East, I believe is their conference, and they've been handling games easily. So I look at Providence. I think if there's a 13-4, I'm like super 50-50 on. It's this one. So I'm kind of want to lean Vermont here, but Providence did beat them by 10. I think I'm going to go the upset though. I'm going to go Vermont. I think Providence has had too many close games. I think they've been a little lucky so far. I'm feeling Vermont.
All right, we'll send Vermont through here. That brings us to Xavier and North Carolina. We see right here the blue blood. We got North Carolina, and they're going up against the Big East school, Xavier. Last year, I was buying North Carolina going into the tournament. I thought that if North Carolina could get out of the first weekend or get out of the first game, they were going to get a trouble for Baylor. I didn't think Baylor had the size. Ultimately, North Carolina struggled with Wisconsin and they lost. We're going to learn a lot about North Carolina this weekend. Playing Duke. I believe this one's in Chapel Hill.
I think so. I think it is.
I can check that, but I believe it's in Chapel Hill. They need this game.
They do, because their resume at this point, they really don't have hardly any good wins at all. But Xavier, Xavier's had better wins, I would say. But I mean, this is 11/6, and 11/6 is, they last like 9 years. I think 11 has beat the 6 like 56% of the time, which is it's kind of surprisingly high. I've always kind of liked watching Xavier. I mean, Paul Scruggs he's a good player. They have a couple, their bigs are pretty good. Fremantle, Ncaa, they're pretty good. So I think this would be a super competitive game. Mm-hmm. I don't know about you. I'm kind of leaning UNC though in this game. I just kind of like I think UNC, if they get in, they'd beat a team like Xavier.
You can see that happen. I don't know much about Xavier. I don't know much about their size, but I know North Carolina is a big team.
They're big. Xavier's pretty big, but they're guys. They don't like Baycott plays like a man though, and Xavier's bigs. They actually they want to take a lot of. They're more perimeter bigs, even though they're pretty big. Yeah. Fremantle especially is, but yeah, I kind of feel North Carolina here. I think Baycott's impressive. Caleb Love, their point guard, he's really good. So I feel like North Carolina gets by.
We'll go North Carolina. I think so too. I think North Carolina, they're big. And for the same reason that I believed in them last year, I'm going to believe in them again, that their size is going to get them through one game here. And then we'll see where they go from there. Michigan State and Jacksonville State here. I think Michigan State wins this game. I don't think they have much issue with it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Michigan State would have much issue with Jacksonville State. Don't know much about Jacksonville State, but I don't see much issues. So.
Michigan State, what is your, well, give me your recap though. We put Michigan State through, but give me your read on Michigan State as we preview them as we move forward.
So based off, because the Michigan State Illinois game last week was it was an interesting game because we were without Kofi Coburn and we didn't have Curbelo back, or Curbelo, and he's barely played this whole season. And Michigan State was in Illinois and it was a good crowd. My cousin was at the game and he goes to quite a bit of Illinois games. He said that was one of the best crowds that he's seen at Illinois game. So maybe that impacted Michigan State. Maybe some of their younger guys, it impacted like Christie, because Christie he's been playing really good. Christie had an awful game against Illinois. Michigan State, I'm not super high on them. I don't know if they have enough like scoring. I don't know if they have enough playmakers in general. And it looks like they're in a tight one right now with Maryland.
Yeah, they're up 2 with 2 minutes left on Maryland right now.
Yeah, I'm not super confident Michigan State. I think they get through this one easy, but Michigan State, I don't know. Not high on them. Have you seen them play much?
I saw the Kansas game. It was early in the season.
True.
But I thought they were lucky to hang in with Kansas. I thought Kansas should have won by more.
Yes.
Should have fairly handily won that game. I wasn't pleased with what I saw to Kansas, but I do think Michigan State wins this game, and we'll go from there. USC and Colorado State. I have both these teams in my Final Four in our individual predictions of just pick without looking at brackets. I thought I had Kansas, USC, Colorado State, and Alabama. I had Alabama. This was something we did we did this around Christmas time that we picked these teams. But SC, they are a good team. They lost Mobley from last year, but they still got the other Mobley brother. They've got Peterson. They've got length. They've got size. And I think that's what Colorado State doesn't have.
That's true. I love Colorado State. It's a team that after like early in the season, because I saw them play a little bit last year. I'm like, this is a pretty good team. They almost made the tournament last year, but I'm like, this is a really good team. The couple of games I saw, and they've been a really good team. They have good wins on their resume, but I actually don't like this matchup for Colorado State much. I think like some of their length, that these guys are huge. These guys are tall. Like Peterson's like a 6'9" guard. Mobley's huge. I think SC gets by this one. As of right now, I think Colorado State's kind of been faltering. They lost to Wyoming. That was a tough game for them on the road, and they lost to UNLV the game before that. But I like SC as well.
I think SC is a team that, and I see them in my nightmares from last year. That Kansas team, it didn't match up well against SC.
I bet you don't like seeing.
I do not. I look at that. I don't. We're foreshadowing it a little bit, but I don't. I do not like that one at all. And we'll go there right now to Kansas and Longwood. I think we both sent Kansas right through.
Yeah, it wouldn't even be a contest, honestly.
We're both very high on Kansas this year. I think Kansas beats Longwood fairly easily. We're recording this. Kansas has just beaten Iowa State without Ochai Agbaji. I think Kansas has the potential to be a really good team. Now they got it handed to them by Kentucky this weekend. I'm well aware of that. You can mention it in the comments, talk about it all you want. Listen, was it Moore that went off for Kentucky?
I know who Shibwe did a lot of damage for Kentucky. I'm trying to. Their point. So Sabir Wheeler played really well. Oh no, you're talking Keon Brooks.
Keon Brooks.
Keon Brooks. I was blanking. I'm like, Keon Brooks is kind of the forgotten guy for Kentucky, and he did because they were trying to run a triangle in two a lot, and Keon Brooks was just eating that up. And I mean, I won't get into Kentucky too much right now. Kentucky was phenomenal in that Kentucky-Kansas game. Like I was extremely impressed. I think if they play again, I think it's a different story. I think Bill Self comes. We both, because I've lived in Kansas as well, so that's my second favorite team as well. So I think Bill Self, he would come with a different game plan. But man, Keon Brooks, he was phenomenal.
Zach, while we're on the topic of Kansas, let's stick with it. Let's stay here. Let's go USC, Kansas, and we'll work our way through this part of the bracket, and then we'll move on.
I like it.
Kansas, USC. I'll lead this off right here and give you my initial reactions. I said it earlier. I see USC from last year in my nightmares still. That game was ugly. It was never a good game.
No.
And if I'm being honest, I see it the same way. I don't like it. I do not like this matchup for Kansas at all.
I don't either. But we always talk McCormick. He's the X factor. And if McCormick comes out and he plays angry and he plays like a grown man, I think we're talking about probably a Kansas win. But McCormick, we get bothered by McCormick at times because
he's soft.
He's a huge dude. Like, he should be able to body most guys. And so I'm also nervous about this game because of USC's length. So this one's tough. What do you think, Will? How are you feeling?
It's KJ Adams could be big here for Kansas.
That's true. He's been playing a lot more minutes now.
KJ's been getting minutes. Again, we'll see what McCormick looks like. We might have to go to Adams in that situation.
Get a little more athletic with it.
Get a little more athletic. Like, we're gonna lose the battle on the inside. That's the key. Now Kansas is gonna want to get out and run after. That's the way Kansas is. That's the way they are this year. Is they make or miss their running, and I think it's poetry sometimes to watch them. They get scored on, and within 5 seconds it's a layup on the other end because guys are getting down the floor and just running. I think that would be good for them against SC. They would turn it into a track meet. They would not want to get into the half court against SC.
This is tough. I'm gonna go SC here. If you go Kansas, you can definitely pick Kansas. I'll go SC as of now.
My heart wants Kansas. My head says SC. I think Kansas gets by here. Okay. They're going on a run. Like, I think Kansas gets by this. This is a terrible matchup for Kansas. When I say terrible, it is awful. It is not the matchup Kansas wants. And I'll rock chalk till I die. I will scream it from the rooftops. I think I have to go rock chalk here just to
manifest it, to speak it into
existence. Yeah. But I am not confident in it at all. No. But I think Ochai Abaji's having a career year. I think he's going to win Wooden. He's going to win the Wooden Award. I think he's playing great.
Yeah, that is the difference, I think, in this year's Kansas team. Having Och be that National Player of the Year candidate right now that Kansas didn't really have last year to that extent. So, yeah, this one's 50-50. You want to go Kansers? Let's go Kansas. Let's go Kansas.
Let's give it to them.
We're rock chalkers over here, so we gotta.
There's our bias for you right there, but we'll put him through, and we'll stick with this part of the bracket. North Carolina, Michigan State.
I'm going UNC here.
You're NC.
I'm normally not that high on UNC, but I'm not high on Michigan State, and I love an 11 seed to make a run. I think it feels like every year an 11 seed makes the Sweet 16. Yeah. So I think I like UNC's draw here. So I kind of like UNC here.
I'll tell you who loves this matchup: the networks. Yeah. The TV networks love this matchup in the second round. You get two huge markets, huge fan bases. Yeah, you're saying UNC. I don't love Michigan State. I don't. So I have no issues putting NC through. I also don't love NC, but we'll go North Carolina here. We'll do this for our buddy Jake in North Carolina.
That's true. This is for you, Jake.
So that brings us, we'll go up the bracket. We'll go Illinois and Vermont. What do you see here?
I think Illinois, we lost in the second round last year. I think to a mid-major school like Vermont, I think we can feed Kofi in a game like that, because anytime we've played like mid-majors this year, we've just now Vermont's one of the better mid-majors, but we've completely just fed Kofi and worked around him because Kofi's learned how to pass out of the post this year, which he could not do in the previous 2 years. So I think Illinois gets by Vermont. I think it's a closest game because Vermont plays pretty good defense, and Illinois at times does struggle to score the ball because we've been injured this year, and at times you wouldn't think we would. We have the talent not to, but we do struggle to score the ball at times. But I do like Illinois to advance in this game.
I foreshadowed it earlier in the last game I was talking about Illinois. I think they're not going to show up in a game. I think in my head, they don't show up in this game, and Vermont might get past them. But I'm not sold on it. We'll put Illinois through here, but I think this is a game definitely to watch for Illinois.
I think so
this
too.
This is a trouble game for them. This is where they fell out last year.
And again, yeah, because Illinois fell to Loyola Chicago, and people were super high on Illinois last year. People aren't as high this year, but some people are. But yeah, I think Illinois is where we got to go.
We'll put Illinois through, but again, we'll watch that game for sure. And as it goes on, I don't think it's whoever Illinois plays, I don't think it's a good matchup. Their ability to string consecutive games together, I've questioned it at times this year, but we'll see how they turn out. We'll go now at Auburn and Miami. I think Auburn gets this one.
Yeah, I do too. Auburn, they've been super impressive this year. Miami and Oklahoma are both decent teams. Whoever got past, I don't think they can hang with Auburn's athleticism. I think Auburn shoots the ball too well. So I think Auburn here.
We'll put Auburn through, and we'll start back at that top, and we'll jump right now to Auburn, Illinois.
This would be a super interesting game. My heart really wants to pick Illinois here. I think they could do it because they do when they play the best teams. Illinois usually shows up. Purdue, a 1 seed right now. We barely lost to them. We lost to them in overtime. Played Purdue extremely hard.
I'd agree. This is a better matchup. This is just they're more likely to show up. It's a name.
Yeah.
They show up for the big games. They play to the caliber of the team they're playing. I think they show up in this game.
I think they do too. I think Illinois gets by them. It's been a long time since Illinois made it to the Elite Eight, and I think this is the year. I think this is the year we do it, especially with this matchup. Auburn's the number 1 overall, but
neither of us are really sold on Auburn this year. We mentioned how we think Bama gets them tonight.
Yeah.
We're going to put Illinois through, but again, very, very up in the air. Here, North Carolina, Kansas. I think Kansas gets this one fairly handily. As much as we're talking about size and how size is the issue for Kansas, I don't think North Carolina's size is effective enough against Kansas. I think Kansas's ability to get out and run, Kansas's ability to shoot the ball here takes out North Carolina. I think Kansas wins this one fairly handily.
I completely agree with that. I think Kansas would fairly handily beat North Carolina right now.
So we'll put
the matchups. The matchup.
We talked about this from the start. We talked about this from the start of the season about how we love to see this matchup. Now you get to that fact again, the size. Kansas in the paint. What is going to happen? Kofi against McCormick or KJ Adams, whatever you throw in there, maybe Lightfoot. What Kofi are you getting?
That's true. At times, Kofi doesn't have a lot of elite. He doesn't have elite touch in the paint. He can struggle sometimes against some teams. Like he struggled against Arizona with Koloko and Tabulis. So I think this game is as even as any game could be in the Elite Eight. I think I think I could see either team winning. I'm thinking Illinois, but I think Will's probably thinking Kansas. I'd be okay with whoever wins this game.
I think Kansas shoots the ball. I think Kansas gets out and runs. I don't know how comfortable I am in saying that Illinois strings together 4 consecutive games.
That's fair. Kansas has been here. Not as these players haven't been in this moment.
Bill Self's been there.
But Bill's been here where Brad Underwood, who's a phenomenal coach and an amazing recruiter himself, but Brad hasn't been here. So in that regard, I think it kind of makes me want to lean towards Kansas.
You got experience on that Kansas team. You got Abaji, you got Brown, you've got that Lightfoot. Lightfoot as a 6th year. He's not a huge player on the court, but he's a huge voice in the locker room. He's been there. He's been on those Kansas teams that have gone far. I think he was on that Kansas team that made the Final Four run.
McCormick?
No, Lightfoot.
Oh, Lightfoot. I think, yeah,
Yeah.
he was. He was
That
there.
year they beat Duke in the Elite Eight. I think Kansas has the experience. I think they're polished. I think Abaji this year is on a mission to take this team far, and I think Abaji gets us into the Final Four.
I think so too.
We'll go. I keep messing that up. We're good here. We're gonna go on, and we'll go down. We'll work on this part of the bracket. We'll start with Purdue here as the number 1 seed. I think Purdue gets it.
Purdue gets it easy. Purdue is elite. I'm super high on Purdue. They've had 3 Big Ten losses, but I really like Purdue this year.
All right, TCU St. Mary's. What do you see? What do you like?
Man, these teams. TCU's actually been extremely surprising to me this year. I definitely wasn't expecting to see this. Something about St. Mary's. Like, I've seen them play some games now this year, and they play this ultra slow paced basketball that bores a lot of people to death. But I think it bothers TCU a lot in this game. I think it would bother TCU to play at such a slow pace. I think whoever dictates the pace probably wins this game. Mm-hmm. And so I think St. Mary's, because they're extremely experienced as well. I think St. Mary's and TCU rarely makes a tournament. St. Mary's usually does. So I'm gonna say St. Mary's gets by.
We'll go St. Mary's right here. I am. It's the same issue again. It's tough to get a read on TCU. They're in the Big 12. I don't think there's much debate about the Big 12 being the best conference in basketball this year. It's a tough game every night. They're battle tested, but I think St. Mary's does pull it out eventually. Marquette in Iona.
Iona's good.
That's tasty. That's good.
Will likes to call them the Fighting Rick Pitino's.
Yeah, we got Rick Pitino with his boys right here.
I love Marquette, but I do Marquette's a team that's susceptible to lose a 5-12 game. They've been playing fantastic, but they're susceptible to lose a game in this 5-12 slot.
I think Iona is a tough team. We say it jokingly, but Rick Pitino is that coach right there. He's going to get his boys in order. He's going to get them ready to go here. They're going to scrap. They're going to fight. I'd put Iona through.
I'd put Iona through too. Rick Pitino is a phenomenal coach. I think he gets his boys ready. Tennessee
and Drake. The Bulldogs.
Oh
versus
man,
the Volunteers. We got.
I don't think me or you are both very high on Tennessee.
No.
I look at Tennessee and I've watched them. Their big win against Arizona. To me, the refs handed that game to Tennessee, but and I'm a completely unbiased fan there. Like Tennessee and Arizona, I have no allegiances to at all. And I'm like, oh, that looked like they kind of handed the game to Tennessee. Did
Vescovi get hot?
Vescovi's a sniper. I like Vescovi. Kennedy Chandler's good. He turns the ball over a ton though. Mm-hmm. I think he turned the ball over like 3 times a game at least, something like that. Mm-hmm. Drake was super good last year. We love Yesufu.
Yesufu. He's in Kansas now, right? Though they lost Yesufu, who when they were in the tournament last year, he was a lot of their scoring. He was where their buckets came from now, and now you get forward.
Tennessee and Drake could be a game in the 50s in the tournament. Mm-hmm. I don't think neither of these teams score a ton.
I could see Tennessee getting through. Though.
I think Tennessee gets through. Tennessee has some athletes on their team.
Yeah,
I think they get by.
We'll put the Volunteers going on. We got Texas and Davidson here. Texas, don't get me started about Texas. They played cupcakes to start the year. They had Gonzaga, and then cupcake after that. Yeah. If we're being honest, it was so I don't know what to think. They had their big win. Not big win, but they beat Tennessee this last weekend.
In a dog fight, 52-51.
Playing Texas Tech tonight.
That's gonna be huge because you got Chris Beard's
in
return.
Lubbock. Yeah.
I've heard people like the students have been like camping out. Like
the scene. If you haven't seen it, find video of what Chris Beard's welcome was to the stadium. Chris Beard did a lot for that program. I've watched a lot of Big 12 basketball. Chris Beard took him to a Final Four, took him to a championship. Yeah.
And all that close to winning. If DeAndre Hunter, if you guys remember, it was 68-65. And DeAndre Hunter, Texas Tech is winning at the end of the game. I think DeAndre Hunter hits a 3 with like 8 seconds to go, and they force OT, and then we know Virginia ends up beating them. But this close, Chris Beard having that championship.
So I'll say that Chris Beard deserved a better welcome going into Tech when he returned home, but that's not what we're here to talk about. But so we're talking Texas Davidson here. You never know what you're getting out of Texas.
I think they got all these transfers in. They are starting to figure it out now.
Yeah,
it was rough at first. They're figuring it out now. I think Davidson's a great mid-major team. Like they got Foster Lawyer. If you guys remember, he was Michigan State's like backup point guard for a while. He transferred there. He's been really good. They have a couple other guys really good, but Texas, I think they got too many guys, and they're putting it together now. I think Texas wins this.
I think they get it together. I think Chris Beard's a good coach.
Fantastic coach.
Tech gets through here. Now you got Villanova and Wagner. Nova played a tough schedule to start the year. Give them credit for it. They tried. Not much success with it.
Lost almost every game against top 25 teams.
But they gave it an effort. They in overtime with UCLA, which neither of us are really high on UCLA. But
Wagner's probably the best 14 seed there is.
They
right
are
now.
A good 14 seed here.
I think this game would actually be close because Nova they're a good team, but
their tradition,
and Jay Wright, that's another just fantastic coach. I love Jay Wright. Our buddy Trey, who San Diego State, he also rides for Nova, but I think this is a good 3-14 matchup. I think Nova probably gets by though.
You got Nova going through. Okay, I think I can see Nova going through here.
I could see this upset.
Yeah, we'll say that too. Again, we could see the upset there. I'm not buying a lot of stock in Nova. If you're looking for who to invest in this this tournament, don't invest a lot in Nova because I don't think they're going far. But we'll see. We got Indiana and Murray State. What are your thoughts here, Zach?
Oh, this is upset city. I'm not super. Indiana has a couple decent wins this year. They beat Purdue, and I'm super high on Purdue. But Assembly Hall is a tough place to play. I think Murray State would beat them, though. I do.
We got Murray State right here.
I think that's a game Murray State wins
for sure. Duke, Princeton. Duke.
I think Duke gets by. They got too much. Boncaro.
Duke is a good team. You also never know what you're going to get out of them. Right now, ACC struggling. Tough to judge how far Duke's going to go in this tournament right now, just because of the way the ACC is playing out. I think they're not getting challenged a lot right now in the ACC, or they shouldn't be getting challenged a lot right now in the ACC. They are still.
They almost lost to Clemson at home this past week.
They had a good game with Louisville. Hung around in there. They had their new coach there. It was a full house in Louisville, but Duke wins it. Oh, this is easy though. We're getting ahead of ourselves. Duke rolls here. I think Duke rolls this one too. I think Duke wins this one.
I agree. Duke wins.
Duke keeps going, keeps marching on all the way into the 16. We get to Texas and Nova. I'm not high on either of these teams, if I'm being honest. I don't know what your thoughts are here, Zach.
I think Texas keeps improving as the year goes along.
Yep.
And I think Texas beats Nova in this game.
Okay, we'll send Texas through. They're starting to get their stuff together. They still got 2 with Kansas coming up, which are always big games, always tough games. No matter, you call me a bias if you want. Kansas is always the class of the Big 12 in terms of that's your measuring stick. So you measure yourself against how you do against Kansas. And so we'll see how they show up. I think they've still got at least one more with Baylor.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not 100% certain on that. But we'll send Texas through here. They're got a tough game tonight against Tech. Right now, it is just getting going. 5 minutes in, Tech up 3 points. We'll see. Michigan State did survive also tonight. They beat Maryland by 2.
Yeah, Maryland, they do cause teams trouble in the Big Ten. Like, no, there's hardly any easy games in the Big Ten, which is probably the second best conference in basketball this year. So that's interesting though. Those are interesting games.
Yeah. And we'll move on. We'll go Iona and Tennessee. Do we dare put Rick Pitino putting them that far again?
I think we do. I think I love if a 12 seeds get in the Sweet 16 this year. I like Wyoming. They weren't matched up. They're also great, but Iona is that. I think Iona can. Tennessee's not impressive. Iona.
No, I don't love Tennessee. I can see Iona winning that game. We'll put Iona through. Again, Tennessee lost to Texas this last weekend in a good. It's a fight. It was a good game. Came out on losing end at home, but we'll put Texas, or we'll put Iona through. Purdue, St. Mary's. Zach, do you have St. Mary's winning this game?
I think Purdue's too much. Purdue's too much for St. Mary's here. I think St. Mary's would keep it somewhat close, but I think
St. Mary's fights them. Purdue wins that game. Here, Purdue, Iona. I think Purdue wins this game.
Yeah, I think this is where the dream ends for Iona.
I think Iona makes a good run here. I think Purdue's a lot to handle. They're a lot. They're going to give teams trouble this tournament. I don't think Iona has what it takes to handle them. So I'd put Purdue through. Texas and Duke. Is there an option C for me in picking the winner of this game? Two of my least favorite brands and schools right now.
It'll be interesting. One of our buddies, Cole, he's a Dookie. So to hear
you'll hear from Cole as it goes on. Don't worry, Duke fans. We do have representation for you as we're going to keep moving along. But
I don't hate Texas as much as Will does. I like Texas here. I love Chris Beard. I think he's phenomenal. And like Marcus Carr, well, I watched a lot of Big Ten basketball. So I watched Marcus Carr a ton at Minnesota. I've watched Texas a few times this year. And I think I like Texas to win this game. I think this is where Coach K's career ends.
Texas hung around in one of their big games. They hung around with Gonzaga earlier this year. Again, we're going to learn a lot about Texas as this goes on. They got 2 with Kansas. I think they got 1 more with Baylor, maybe even 2 with Baylor. I'm not 100% certain on that, but you're going to learn a lot about them. You're going to learn. This is Chris Beard's team has had time to gel. They had they're coming together. They beat Tennessee this weekend. We'll see what they come out with. We'll see what they look like, but they're going to grow here. Purdue though, and Texas.
This is a pretty phenomenal game. Do you have what's your first impressions of this game? You think?
I said it. Purdue's a lot to handle. Purdue is big, physical.
I think Purdue's too much.
Yeah.
I think Purdue gets by. I think it's a pretty good game, but I think Purdue gets by.
I think they do too.
Purdue has inside presence with Travion Williams, Zach Edey, Jaden Ivey, who's one of the best players in college basketball, and you have Sasha Stefanovic, who really angers me at times being an Illinois fan because he absolutely carried in the game against Illinois. It was very frustrating, but they're too much. All
right, we'll go here. Baylor, and I think that's Norfolk State and UNC Wilmington. Got the Bears going in this one. I don't like the Bears. I don't think Baylor. I don't know where their scoring is going to come from.
See, this year, me and Will, we probably differ the most on Baylor. So we have a lot of agreements. We're very different on Baylor. Baylor's team, I really like this Baylor team. They're not as good as last year's team, but they have a similar makeup. They don't have a guy like Vital, but they have a similar makeup, and I think Baylor.
I don't know as the tournament goes on what Baylor's going to do for their scoring. You lose your 3 best players last year. I don't think anyone can argue they lost their 3 best players after last year. And so for them to recover and make another run, could I see them making it to the 16? Yeah, I think they end out at the 16. Maybe depending on who they get in the 16, they could maybe make an 8, but I can't see them go much far. That is far, but I can't see them going much further. I can't see them making it out of this region.
Then Wake Forest, BYU. How you feeling? How you feeling about that one?
The Cougs. Where do you start with BYU?
If this was last week, I'd be feeling a lot different. They just lost to Pacific University, who was 5-14, which is
they lost to Pacific. Who they lose to on their Santa Clara?
Santa Clara. They should have had that game, which that would have been a good win for them because Santa Clara that's probably the 5th best West Coast Conference team. like with that loss, I'm like, okay, I can understand.
Mhm.
Then they lose to Pacific, and I'm like, I'm getting a little concerned. I still think we like Barcelo.
We're not going to spend too much time previewing the game
No,
for this weekend between BYU Gonzaga. I think you'll learn a lot about BYU here this weekend.
I do too.
What kind of team are they? What are they going to show up with? Gonzaga, you're going to learn a lot about them too. They're going into Provo, going into the Marriott Center. That place is going to be wild. That place is going to be crazy. That place is going to be bumping. We'll see what they come out with. That historically, that has been a place that gives Gonzaga trouble,
It's
most trouble.
Yeah, toughest test. Probably.
That's Gonzaga's toughest test historically in the West Coast Conference play is when they have to go to BYU. But we'll see what they end up with. We'll see. We're going to get into that in an episode on Friday that we're going to record ahead of the weekend. But we'll put that to the side for now.
Yeah, I like BYU here.
BYU.
They got experience. They're guards. They're old. Tijon Lucas, sixth year, I think, and also Barcelo, sixth year.
Alabama, Chattanooga. We've hinted at it all
in the beginning.
Plot twist. We're putting Chattanooga through. No. Bama, I think they get hot. I'll say this right now. If they get hot, you catch Bama at the right time. I don't think there's any team in this tournament Bama cannot beat. Shackelford and Quinterly, and you add in Davis, like they've got guard play. They can score with the best of them. They can shoot with the best of them. It's what Alabama are you going to get? And can Alabama get hot? I see Bama winning this game. And as much as I put Bama through, I can see Bama losing this game.
Yeah, I think so too. I think if Bama wins this game, you got a chance to make a serious run, especially out of these, this quadrant here. Yeah. But I also think this can be, if this game was to happen, if this was the real bracket, I think this would be the most commonly picked 12-5 matchup loss because they've lost to Georgia. They lost to Iona, which I like Iona, but they lost to Davidson as well. No, they're a pretty good team, but I think I'm going to go Bama here.
We got Bama going. Again, what Bama is going to show up is the question. Who knows? Who knows? We could be talking on Friday, and I'll be talking about how Bama's the greatest team because they just took off the number 1 seed tonight, which we both think they're going to. Yep. Or we could be talking about the fact that Bama went and laid an egg against Auburn, and the game after their big win against Baylor, they went and
got beat by 30.
They're Jekyll and Hyde. You don't know what you're going to get. Nate Oates is a good coach, though. I like Nate Oates. I like the backcourt in Bama. I think they're going to be a good team this year. We'll go Bama. Houston, North Texas. Zach and I have been having this conversation all year. How does Houston keep going like this? Props to Houston.
For real. They lost Marcus Sasser, who averaged 18 points a game this year, and Tremont Mark, probably their best perimeter defender. They've had no issues with any Americans week this year. Don't get me wrong, but they just keep winning though.
Houston wins this one.
I think Houston wins this one. Their defense is phenomenal.
Great round of 32 matchup.
I think so too.
Great matchup.
That was a phenomenal game. That was with Sasser still, right? I believe Sasser.
I can look at that.
But we'll need to look because that's gonna be, if this happens again. I think even without Sasser, who I really loved because Houston made that amazing run last year, and Sasser was a big reason why. That would still be a really good game. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So Sasser played 39 minutes that game, 25 points in their loss to Bama in December. But we will get to that when we get to it. But we're going to move on. But we see Houston beating North Texas, the mean green there. The UConn and San Francisco. Now UConn just lost tonight. They lost to who did UConn lose to tonight? They lost to Creighton, actually. So Creighton, the Blue Jays beat UConn tonight.
Big win for Creighton. They needed that. They were on the bubble. That's huge.
That's
was that at UConn is what it was.
That was at UConn tonight.
Wow. Is it? Yeah, that's a huge win.
That was in UConn, or at UConn. You never know. Again, I'll say again, UConn is, what are you going to get?
Yeah, they're the only team to beat Auburn this year.
Yep.
Interestingly enough, UConn's the only one. San Francisco, they've choked away a lot of games. They should have beat BYU a couple weeks ago. Ole Miss is handling LSU right now. That's great. I'm also an Ole Miss fan, so got to go for them. I think UConn beats them though.
Yeah, UConn. I think UConn takes this game. We talked highly of San Fran though. I think West Coast, great season for them. Make the tournament. I don't know when the last time San Francisco made the tournament was.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, but good for them. They got in. I think that sounds like good for you. No, it is a good year for San Francisco. I think they could give UConn trouble. They could hang here. They hung with Gonzaga for till halftime, and a little bit into the second half a few weeks ago.
Yeah, they did.
So UConn could lose here to San Francisco very easily, but I think UConn wins this game. Arizona and Weber State, Damian Lillard University. We got Arizona here, though. I think.
I think so.
I think we're both really high on Arizona. I think we both think Arizona's a really good team.
I like Arizona. I think they get by this one.
We'll go Iowa State, Loyola, Chicago. I like Iowa State a lot this year. I think they're Brockington.
Yeah, Brockington's phenomenal.
I think he's really good. I think that guy is really. I don't know what he put up tonight. Zach, you want to talk about this for a second? I can tell you what Brockington did tonight.
Yeah, because we were watching the Iowa State Kansas game, and Brockington throughout the year, we've actually seen a lot of Iowa State games, and Brockington's like almost always consistent. He's
24 points tonight from Brockington.
Yeah. He always seems that he's kind of like their steadying guy. He steadies them out. He's the senior from, I believe he transferred from Penn State.
Yeah.
And he's really good. I like Iowa State here too. This game would be a struggle to get to 50 points.
Yeah, it'd be a battle. Look at that. Kansas did get to 70 tonight. I told Zach there's no way Kansas gets above 65. They're definitely not getting to 70, and they proved me wrong. They got 70 points without Ochai Agbaji tonight. Great job, boys. Rock chalk Jayhawk.
I think I like Iowa State here.
I like Iowa State too. I think Brockington is really good. He was a man on a mission when they were at Fog. I remember watching that game and I was just thinking, man, like Oach couldn't do anything. Ochai Agbaji is a great defender. He couldn't do anything with them. The question is going to be how many points can Iowa State put up? Yeah. What are they going to do? If Brockington doesn't play well, where is scoring going to come from? All questions Iowa State would have to answer if they want to go far in this tournament, want to make a run. Iowa State has shown potential to be able to battle with teams, maybe make a run. Who knows what happens once they get out of the Big 12 play, but I think Iowa State wins this game here. Kentucky, Appalachian State.
I think with Shibwe so dominant.
Kentucky, they looked great on Saturday.
I hate to say it, I'm kind of a Kentucky hater.
We don't like Kentucky. We don't like Cal. But
Kentucky stole two of Illinois' best assistant coaches this past year, and almost took Kofi Coburn from us, which would have been terrible. The hatred would have even ramped up even more if they had took Kofi.
But I think Kentucky wins this game. I think Kentucky's a good team. I think
Kentucky's looking dangerous.
I'm going to go as far as say I'm going to go like that, and I'm automatically going to go like this. I think we're easy going to put them through like that. Yep. Kentucky looked great. We talked about him a little bit earlier. Severe Wheeler.
Yeah.
Severe Wheeler looked great the other day.
He might be the best. He's one of the best point guards in the country for sure. He's a small dude. He's 5'9", and he's good though.
Brooks played great on Saturday. Shibwe, you never know what you're gonna get.
He's pretty, but he's dominant.
He's dominant. My bad. He's dominant. He can board. His points are gonna be the question. What kind of points you gonna get at Shibwe? But you're gonna get stuff from the glass.
Yep.
He's gonna battle.
His interior defense, and he makes the game easier for everyone on Kentucky. Because I think you take away Shibwe from Kentucky, you're talking about like a 7 seed, honestly. But with Shibwe, I mean, him and Kofi are the most dominant centers.
We haven't even brought up Ty Washington yet. We've gone this long. We haven't even said one. We haven't said his name. He's their scoring. He's their guy. I think Kentucky's got a good team. I think they're gonna have a good team this year.
Yeah. Sounds me to say, but man, Kentucky's looking tough.
They're looking really good. They looked really good on Saturday.
And they might have beat Auburn the other day if Ty Washington didn't get hurt. That might have been a different game. And that was at Auburn. So that would have been really impressive.
So we'll see what Kentucky gives us. If they play like they played on Saturday, Kentucky's walking to the championship.
For
It's
real.
not. Kentucky's winning this thing if they play like they played on Saturday.
I agree.
But UConn, Arizona. Arizona.
I like Arizona here. I'm not. I haven't watched a lot of UConn this year, and we have seen Arizona.
We got my Canadian boy there.
Benedict
Mathurin. Yep.
Dude's a dog.
He's good.
I love Benedict Mathurin. He's one of my favorite players in college basketball.
He's really good. I think they're a great team there in Arizona. I think they're gonna go. I think you got SC that's really good out of the Pac-12. You got Arizona that's really good out of the Pac-12. UCLA's UCLA. A lot of people love UCLA. This is. I'll go as far as say this is one of the better looking years for the Pac-12 in terms of their top of how far you could have someone.
Yeah,
go.
their top is looking really good. They're not deep. They haven't been deep for a few years now, but the top is looking really good.
If I could see a Pac-12 team
in the Final Four. Yeah, we saw it last year with UCLA, but that was a shock.
And you get to the Final Four, who knows if someone wins it, right?
Yeah.
And then it's a throw them all up in the air. You could be seeing for the first time in a long time the Pac-12 winning a national title. Zach, you told me a stat the other day about the Pac-12 or about time zones in terms of someone who's won the championship. What was it?
Yeah, before from 2000 to 2019, there was only one team to win that wasn't in the Eastern time zone, and that was 2008 Kansas. We saw Baylor was the second team now because Baylor won it all last year, but that's only 2 out of 20
Since
seasons.
2000, there's been 2 teams, both in the Big 12, that have not been from the Eastern time zone to win the NCAA tournament. And
so it's not, it doesn't it's been a while.
You say what you want about it. There's the reasons for that. The fact that players they choose to go out East more often than playing on the West Coast. That's a whole other debate about that, but it's not something to overlook. I think the fact that
it's been since 97 since the Pac-12 teams won the championship, and that was Arizona that won it in 97. And I think Arizona, if there's going to be a Pac-12 team to win it this year, I think it's Arizona.
So, but we'll keep going here. We'll get to Alabama and Houston again. Roll Tide for me. I think they get hot. I'm banking on them getting hot here. But them playing the way they can. I don't know what's happening right now, but in their game against Auburn, but they got the ability to get hot right now. They're down 4 right now to Auburn, but they can shoot the ball. They're quick.
Yeah, without Houston having Sasser and he's not coming back this year, he was leading their team in scoring by a lot. I don't think they have enough offense. I think Bama wins.
I think that I sung the praises of Kentucky, how Kentucky played on Saturday. If Alabama plays the way Alabama can play, they shoot the ball the way Alabama can play, and they get hot at the right time, I can see Alabama winning this tournament. They got a good team. They can shoot. They can battle. I'll put Bama through here. Baylor and BYU. Baylor
easily. It's Baylor easy.
Baylor's getting this one. As much as I bashed Baylor there, that wasn't much of a question for me. I haven't loved what I've seen out of BYU this year. Who knows? Maybe Saturday BYU goes out there and beats Gonzaga, and I'm singing a different tune here. But I think Baylor wins this game. As much as I say, I don't know where the scoring is going to come from. BYU's scoring is going to come from Alec Marcello, and that's
yeah. Their guard play is pretty good. It's not enough though. Baylor gets by.
All right, let's start it again. Let's set that up. Baylor and Bama. Did they play last year?
That was the game on Saturday. It was the Baylor Bama game.
There we go. They played Saturday. Did they play last year in the tournament? I'm trying to remember. No, they didn't.
Because
that was Houston and Baylor.
Yeah,
but they played Saturday. It was a good game. We saw what Alabama can do. We saw when Alabama plays Alabama basketball, they can beat any team in the country. They beat Baylor, even though I trashed on Baylor at the start there. But I think Bama gets this game. I think Bama takes it again. Because I don't think that the game's played much differently.
I think in a neutral site game, I'd go Baylor, but Bama is the type of team that could do damage. I'd pick Baylor in this team. I'm pretty high on Baylor. He's more lower on Baylor. So
I
it's
think something that we can't overlook though is the fact that this will be the second weekend now. We're into Bama's had time off. They've sat for a little bit. You could see Bama get high after their win and Chattanooga, and that carries them against Houston. They're hot, and then they have to sit for a little bit. And then you get to the question of what Bama, same question you have, what Bama are you going to get? As I talk right now, I could very easily see Baylor winning this game because, again, what Bama are you going to get? Are you going to get a hot Bama for back-to-back weeks? The way this season has looked, it would tell you probably not.
Yeah, this one's tough. I'll leave this one up to you. I'll leave this call up to you.
My guts tell me Bama's not going to get hot back for 3 straight games with time off in between.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see them do it. I have them in my Final Four in our individuals things. Again, I have Bama, Kansas, USC, Colorado State is my Final Four in our things that we picked at Christmas. I am high on Bama, I was high on Bama, and I still am high on Bama. I think Bama has the potential to go for a run here, but if I'm leaning it on what do I think is most likely to happen, what do I think is going to probably happen is Bama's not going to get hot for 3 straight games. They're not going to get hot after time off, and they're going to struggle to score here. And I think Baylor's going to take this game.
I think so too.
So Arizona and Kentucky.
We talked about what we like about these teams, but this would be one of my most interested. Like, I'd be really interested.
This is a spicy game. This is a good game, a great game.
Actually. I think national intrigue would be high with this game.
I think whoever wins this goes to the Final Four. I think whoever wins this beats Baylor. I'll say that right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't see Baylor getting to a second straight Final Four.
No.
I kind of feel like it's Kentucky from what I saw on Saturday.
Kentucky looked great. Looked great. And there's a recency bias in here. We'll admit it, but Kentucky's going through. And then, as we mentioned, we'll talk a little bit about it here, but I think Kentucky wins this game again.
Yep. It's tough to want to put Kentucky in the Final Four. We got to do it.
Yeah. It's Kentucky going through here. And then we'll keep going on. We'll move up to the top here. We got Gonzaga and Hawaii, 2 Western teams here. You see the Rainbow Warriors putting up a fight?
Nope, not even close.
No, I think Gonzaga gets this game here. I think Gonzaga, I'm not as high on them as I was last year. It's going to be the old adage, the same thing. Although the West Coast Conference has been better this year, they've been good this year. What are you going to get out of the West Coast Conference? How much has Gonzaga been tested? Their early season schedule was a tough schedule. They did a good job. They hear the complaints of the people out there, and they said, all right, we're going to schedule our best in the non-conference games, and they did. They lost to Duke earlier this year, beat Texas, beat USC or UCLA, lost to Alabama. I think
that's their only 2, right? Those are 2 losses.
Their 2 are Duke and UC or in Alabama. I still think Gonzaga's got a good team right now. I don't think they have any issues getting out of this game, and I think they go through on the weekend.
I think they would easily go through on the weekend. I like Boise State right now over Arkansas.
Yeah, we're here in Idaho right now, so we hear a lot about Boise State. Hey, Boise State fans, we're saying it correctly for you too. We're trying our best here. But we think Boise State gets this one.
I think they do. But then Gonzaga, honestly, let's just put them right through. I think Boise State doesn't have enough offense in the slightest to even keep this game that competitive.
I'll tell you out here, they'd love to see that game. I think it would be 2 smaller schools in terms of the size of the actual school, but I think it'd be a great game. I think Boise State's going to try and play some defense here.
It'd be cool to see for like the Northwest to get that game would be really cool. You'd have a lot of people interested because we are in Idaho. So we know some Zag fans, we know some Boise State fans. And so this would be a good game. It'd be good. It would be a cool game to see. I don't know if it's a good game to see.
I think it'd be cool in terms of storylines for the Northwest up here, but we'll go forward. Ohio State and Toledo. Ohio State, the team that killed so many brackets last year with their game against Oral Roberts. I don't know if I can ever trust Ohio State again. I was high on
No.
Ohio State last year. They have their big win against Duke. They beat Duke at home.
But I'm not in love with this team.
No, okay.
I kind of like Toledo to win this.
Yeah, that's fair. I think Toledo's got a good team. That there it is. That, as they'll say on TV, that classic
The classic
12-5
12-5.
upset, right? But I think Toledo gets it.
Yeah.
I don't know how many 12-5s do we have right now.
That was just the second.
Is that the second one
Second.
we picked?
Which I traditionally only like to pick 1 to 2 12-5s.
Mhm.
And this year, these 12-5s, I really feel like they can happen. Like
I'm Tech right away.
Tech easy.
Tech.
We're so high.
We
on
like Tech. I think I'll give this. Where's Tech scoring going to come from? They can go cold for long stretches, and so they can't afford to go cold for a long stretch in this tournament, especially as the tournament goes on. I don't think they have trouble with South Dakota State though. I love the Jackrabbits. I love the name Jackrabbits. But I think Tech wins that game. I like the team at Tech.
I like the team at Tech too.
I understand why Chris Beard left Tech for that bigger brand in Texas. I think he's getting paid more money at Texas. But that's a good team over there at Tech.
I think Tech's a better team.
They're still in good hands. They're still going to continue to, we'll see how it continues to grow and continues to go. But I think Tech's the better team in that situation.
Yeah, I think they'll get through Toledo pretty easy.
We got LSU and San Diego State and Creighton.
I'm not high on LSU at all. They're actually
No.
getting killed Ole Miss right now.
Yeah, I don't know what the score is right now.
And so we'll see how that ends up going. And even before that Ole Miss game, I don't like
Down 20 right now to Ole Miss. LSU is
at home. And Ole Miss is not a great basketball team. I don't like LSU at all. Actually, they had a cupcake schedule and they're defensively good, but I don't like them at all.
So who do we see? So if you're picking the 11 seed here, who is the 11 seed then?
I think San Diego State's a little more consistent. I think and we'll do it for our boy Trey.
Yeah,
Massive San Diego State fan. He'll be on the channel a
Mhm.
time or two. And he's massive San Diego State guy. So we got to give him that. Move him on. We'll move him on to the round of 32.
We'll put San Diego State through. That is San Diego State. But Creighton got their win tonight. Creighton beat UConn. We'll see how Creighton builds from it. But
they're kind of like Bama. You don't know what to expect with Creighton. They get hot. They got guys like Alex O'Connell.
We'll see here. Wisconsin and Oakland. Wisconsin, they've got
Johnny Davis,
player. Johnny Davis,
probably the leading guy for National Player of the Year right now.
Yeah, I put my call in for National Player of the Year already, but Johnny Davis is great. I think Oach doesn't get it. Johnny Davis does.
It's gonna be close. Ochai, Baji, Johnny. We'll say that'll be another video.
That's a different video.
But I like Wisconsin to win here.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed watching Wisconsin play, and I like their team this year.
All right, we got Iowa and Seton Hall.
Oh, this is the bummiest 7-10 I've ever seen.
Yeah.
These teams are like trending down hard right
Seton
now.
Hall has not looked good lately. Iowa
No.
has not looked good lately. Yeah, I'd be amazed to see both of them ranked this high when the time comes.
I don't like these teams at all, to be honest with you.
We saw Seton Hall struggling to get into the tournament on Joel Lenardi's thing there. He's not high on him. We're not high on him. Also not high on Iowa. They're missing Luka Garza from last year. He was there.
Keegan Murray's
the guy.
Keegan Murray's good. He scores a lot of points, but I don't know. I'm kind of leaning Seton Hall here.
Yeah. Okay. We can put Seton Hall through. I'll go with you, Zach, here. I'm not high on either of them.
No.
UCLA walks here. We agree here.
And they walk again.
I think we'll keep walking with UCLA. I think if UCLA gets this
that
four,
little quadrant their first weekend,
they're
easy.
thrilled. I think UCLA is thrilled.
Yeah.
I'm not high on UCLA.
I'm a little higher, but I'm not
I think
convinced.
All the hype around UCLA this year at the start of the year, I think people failed to remember the fact that they needed a play-in to get in to the tournament last year. Yes, they got hot. They went on a run, but let's not ignore the fact last year and this is last year's team, but let's not ignore the fact that they needed that play-in to get into the tournament. So, but in the end, that's history. UCLA this year, they lost to Gonzaga by 20, I think. It was close,
Yeah,
something
it
like
was a
that.
blowout. I remember watching that game, and I ended up falling asleep to that game because it was so rough to watch.
There's been a couple of games where they haven't. Did Oregon beat UCLA?
Oregon did beat UCLA.
Oregon beat UCLA.
Yeah, they beat 2 top 5 teams in a row on the road. I think it was UCLA and SC when SC was in the top 5. So,
but I think UCLA wins this game. I think they win against Seton Hall, and we'll keep moving. Wisconsin, San Diego State, Wisconsin.
I think Wisconsin here. It would actually be a pretty good game because San Diego State and Wisconsin both played that slow pace, but San Diego State's had some rougher games this year too. Johnny Davis can just take over games. Like the dude dropped like 30, I think 4 times this year. And in college basketball, that's not common at all. So I think Wisconsin gets by. And actually the Wisconsin UCLA game would be a good game. Be a good game. Oh, and I think we got Tech. We'll just go up here to Tech.
We'll go straight through with Tech.
Here.
I think we sung our praises of Tech already. Tech's a good team. They're gonna play defense. They're gonna grind and grind and grind. They're gonna keep it low scoring. We'll transition into their next game now with Gonzaga. My question in this game is going to be my question with Tech throughout the whole tournament. What happens for scoring?
Yeah, they can defend Gonzaga. They actually played earlier in the year, and it was fairly close. I think Gonzaga beat them by 10. But I think Tech, Mark Adams, their coach now, he's a great coach too. Honestly, this Gonzaga team's good. Like they're real good, and they could easily make the Final Four. But as of right now, I'm thinking Tech.
They got height inside with Holmgren,
and
Timmy, but
I like Tech here. Honestly,
I like Tech too. What's the big guy at Tech? The guy in the paint.
Santos Silva.
He's big. He's gonna push you around on the inside. He's not tall, but he's big, and I think he pushes around Holmgren, and I think he pushes Timmy. Isn't gonna be as easily to push around, but I think
it would be a good matchup. He's a great defender. He doesn't score much, but
he pushes you around on the inside, and I don't think they're gonna have their way. It's gonna come down to guard play on the outside. I think my boy Andrew Nembhard, fellow Canadian. I love Andrew Nembhard. I think he's really good. I think he's a great player on that team. But Tech, I think Tech gets that. Wisconsin, UCLA. We said earlier that'd be a great game.
I kind of feel like because UCLA made that run last year, I kind of want to end it. I want to end it for him right here.
Yeah.
So, I'm not a big LA guy myself. Never really enjoy rooting for LA teams. So maybe that's a little bit of just a dislike, but I'm gonna go Wisconsin.
I don't know. I don't know what UCLA is gonna look like. I don't love UCLA. I didn't love them last year. I think they got hot last year, which really helped them a lot. And I think they remember that, as they should. UCLA got hot, and if they get hot like they got hot last year, they could go far and do damage again this year. But I think Wisconsin beats them here. I think their run ends here, and I think Wisconsin goes on. Now you get to Wisconsin and Tech. If there's a team that can guard JD Davis.
Are you talking about Johnny Davis?
Johnny Davis, sorry.
Yeah. I think Tech does have the guys to defend them. Tech's got the guys to defend Johnny Davis. Brad Davison's Wisconsin's second best player. He's been around for, everybody always makes the jokes about Brad Davison's 10th year in college. Does feel like he's been around a long time. I kind of think I kind of like Tech to win this.
I like Tech too. We really like Tech this year. We think Tech's got a great team. We think they fight hard. They're gonna bring in a dogfight, and who knows how it's gonna go. And now that we'll stick with Tech, and we'll go to Tech in Kentucky here. Defense is, again, what is Tech's defense going to look like?
I
don't think they got the scoring.
I don't think they're going to have enough. And in our opinion, Kentucky could definitely change. As of right now,
it's high. There is a recency bias. We'll keep reiterating that this is coming off of their win against Kansas, where Kentucky looked unstoppable.
Yeah, and then the game against Auburn, it also impressed me there too. They lost, but I'm like, okay, if Kentucky goes into Auburn, only loses by 10, and they were up by 9 when Ty Washington went out of the game, up by 9. So it's like Ty Washington plays a huge impact. Wasn't as impactful against Kansas, but he easily could be any given night. And so I'm kind of thinking this is where Tech's journey would end.
I think Kentucky here too. Oh, not Tech, Kentucky. My bad. Kansas and Purdue on the other side of the bracket. It's been a little bit since we talked about Kansas and either of these teams really, but I think Kansas's issue is going to be size. I think Kansas is going to get all tournament. That's going to be the story. And that's going to be the question is what kind of size. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe McCormick shows up. Maybe Lightfoot or Adams decide they want to be a man underneath. They want to be big and strong and they want to battle. But I think Purdue gets this one.
I think Purdue gets this one too. I think Purdue is a matchup issue for Kansas.
I think just Kansas gets outpowered. I think.
So we got Purdue in the national championship game. Actually, they haven't even been in the Final Four in a long time. The Elite Eight's kind of been their stopping point. But this year, Purdue feels a little different to me.
They look good.
It feels different to me.
I think Purdue's got the size to battle with Sheboy.
I think they do too. Purdue has that. Most other teams don't. There's only a handful of teams of basketball that can really handle Sheboy to even a decent extent.
Yeah, and now I'm not saying maybe they don't win it, but they limit how badly they get outplayed by Sheboy. Sheboy has the ability just to go at some guys and just overpower to the point where it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
I don't think Purdue gets overwhelmed at all.
No, I don't either. I think Purdue has more weapons to deal damage. They have better shooters. Like Ivy or Stefanovic, the purest of shooters probably in all of the country. And then Jaden Ivey can shoot pretty well. He just had a game-winning 3 against Ohio State. But I like Purdue here. I think they got too much weapons for Kentucky.
I think so too. I think Purdue has that ability to go. And I think the Purdue Boilermakers, which how cool of a name is that? Boilermakers. The Purdue Boilermakers are going to be your national champions. Zach, you want to take a shot at guessing this final score just for fun?
Oh, for fun. I'll go. This game, I think, I'll say it's in the 70s. I think this game's like 75. Let's go 75-71.
75-71 is your final score. We got that is our final.
And as if the bracket was like this is how we have it.
Zoom out here. Please zoom out.
But it's gonna be if I'm really excited for this. Once we get into February now, the season starts to get better and better. I think conference tournaments start, and we love watching conference tourneys. Then you got March Madness. So this is like the best time for college basketball. We're super excited. I don't even know if we can zoom out, but
technical difficulties. But there you go. You see what we're looking at here. I think we're just getting started with this is, as Zach said, this is a great time. We're going to be riding with you all the way through. We're going to ride this out through the college basketball season. That's our commitment. Is we're going to try and make 2 videos a week. We're going to have people stopping by, some of our friends, talking some basketball and bring it to you. We think that we provide something here. We're here for those college basketball fans that want to see a bracketology. They want to see people talk about college basketball, what they're thinking. And as the season starts to get going, we're excited to bring it to you.
Yeah. And if you guys disagree or agree with anything we say, we definitely appreciate comments and to subscribe and
subscribe, cool. Comment, let us know what you're thinking. We're going to take questions. We're on our Friday videos. We'll be open to questions. So if you do have any questions, drop a comment and we'll try and get to them. We want to know what you're thinking going in. Who's your Final Four right now? We'll ask that. If you're picking based off of the way Joe Lenardi has it shaping up, what do you have it looking like?
Yeah, we'd be really curious to know. I would love to hear you guys' opinions on that because we love talking college basketball. It's the reason why we did this video. We talk college ball all the time. We love looking at the bracketologies. We're really looking forward to it. We'll continue to make videos, and it's been fun.
We're excited. We're thankful you guys joined us today, and
we'll catch you in the next one.
We'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.